Hello, YouTube. I am Vince White. I am an employment attorney, and normally on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. However, pardon me. However, today we're continuing our series on how to approach and obtain employment attorney representation, right? How to entice employment attorneys to bankroll your case, to spend hundreds of hours on your case, to lend their expertise to your case, and ultimately to hopefully only get paid the bulk of their fees if they are victorious in obtaining you a monetary amount on your case, right? That's what we want for you. We think that's a tremendous benefit. We think people should generally be represented in this field. Certainly not everyone needs to be, and certainly, listen, I can think you should be represented, and you can say, I don't want to be, and I say that's okay. It's a free country, right? That's why I make videos for you, too, about how to represent yourself. But that being said, what we're talking about today is the phrase pro bono. And I think there's a lot of confusion about what it means when you're saying pro bono. So a lot of people know they want an attorney who gets the bulk of their fee if they win the case, right? That's generally, you want attorneys who are taking risks on you, who are putting their money where the mouth is, right? Who are covering the expenses and putting in the time and not charging you hourly or big upfront fees, things like that. And that's good because that gives your attorney, one, you know they believe in you. You know they're not just taking your money. And two, they have a profit motive that is almost directly in line with yours. They want to win you money because the more money they win you, the more money goes in their pocket. So that's positive. It's nice to have that unity of interest, right? But what a lot of people will do, and this is fairly common, people call up and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a pro bono attorney. I want pro bono." And I say, "Okay, so do you mean you want pro bono, like free, or are you looking for an attorney who works on a contingency?" And most of those people say they want a contingency attorney. They want an attorney who gets paid if they win. I say, "Okay, now we're talking, right?" Excuse me, this cough, my goodness. So that confusion right there, there are firms who, when you say pro bono, will just be like, "Yeah, no, Mom, we're full on pro bono. We do all our pro bono work already, so, bye." And, like, those firms you might not want to deal with anyways, because I think they should at least have a conversation with you, like, "Hey, what are you actually looking for?" You get a feel for what you mean, right? These firms are so eager to hang up the phone. I don't know if they're that great. I mean, they should want to listen to you. They should care about you. They should be investing in this initial conversation with you, right? But there's a second way this conversation goes, where people will say to me, no, I want real pro bono. I want free representation all the way through. Oh, okay. Well, we do pro bono work. It's primarily for children, though. Can you tell me a little bit about why you need pro bono representation on your case? And generally speaking, that response looks like, "I don't want to give an attorney money." But just say, "I get it. I don't either. I hate giving attorneys money. So I wish you the best of luck with your case, but we're not going to take it for free." And then people will say, You should do pro bono work. You should be happy to do this for free." Okay, sure. You a builder? You build houses? Cool. "I'd like one house, please. Just give me a house. Give it to me for free." "Oh, you don't want it? Okay. You raise cattle? That's what you raise, cattle for a living? Cool. Let's see. I'll take about 55 cattle. About 55 head of full-grown cattle at a slaughterhouse. That would, hanging weight. That would be about right. I like that for free, though. Just give it to me." "Oh, you don't want to? It took you hundreds of hours and tens upon tens of thousands of dollars in investment to grow those cattle to maturity?" "Yeah, sure did, didn't it?" That's what a case is. Like, you're asking the attorneys to spend somewhere between $10,000 and $100,000 on your case in terms of covering the expenses, and then spend hundreds of attorney hours on the case all the way through, and risk all of that for you. And then you're saying, hey, but if you risk all of that, I don't want you to be compensated at the end. You can want that. You can say that. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, I don't think that's too compelling of an offer, right? There's people who call it like, yeah, I want pro bono representation. You should be happy to take my case for the exposure. Listen, if I was a amateur juggler, right? You were like, I need you to come work my party as an entertainment for the exposure. I'd still tell you, listen, I drop these balls more often than I actually make the juggle happen. I'm still not going to show up to your party and juggle for you like a clown for the exposure, right? That's the thing people say to the musicians, like young musicians starting out, you should play the party for exposure. You should shut up. That's what I think. That's an asinine thing to say, right? Like, nobody's taking your case for exposure. Are you, maybe if you're like the most famous person in the world, like, I don't know, the name Oprah springs to mind. If Oprah was like, Vince, I've got a very serious employment litigation, I'd like you to take it for the exposure. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if maybe I can't say no outright, but I can tell you professional athletes have paid for my time. You know, like some fairly famous reality TV stars have paid for my time. So like the idea that like for the exposure is going to be compelling, probably not, right? So just when you're having these conversations with the attorneys, keep in mind the economics of what you're asking for and be realistic with your ask, right? If you go through all the attorneys in your state, you talk to all the local counsel that you could possibly hire, and you tell all of them that you don't want to pay, most of them are going to mark your number down in their book as like, do not call back, DNC, right? And when you call, they're going to be like, oh, thank you so much for calling. No attorneys are free. You're like, okay, great, I'll get a call back. And they're like, oh, well, maybe, we can't guarantee that. Because they're not going to call you back. Because they're going to think you're a time waster who just begs for free representation and doesn't understand the economics of their claim, right? Listen, is it wild that you're going to have to enter into a deal with an attorney to compensate that attorney for spending all this money and time on your case because someone is targeting you on the basis of your protected class? Someone is hating you and treating you negatively because of who you are? Yeah, it's wild. It's gross. It's horrible. It is also the system we have. It is. And it feels bad. It feels bad for me to be like, I can't help you because you don't want to pay me. Like that. In a perfect world, I'd be able to help you. And I wouldn't have to worry about, can I win? And if I win, can I win enough that I can keep this firm afloat and help more people? Like, that's not a fun question for me to have to pose to myself 20 times a day. It's not fun because I just want to help. It'd be really nice to be able to help. But I got to say to people, listen, can't help you. Definitely can't help you pro bono, right? It's just not going to happen. So, be knowledgeable. You're in a primarily contingency field. Most cases in this field are going to be run mostly on the basis of contingency. There's definitely firms that charge up front. There's firms that have fee structures. There's firms that charge expenses. There's all these different models, right? There's even firms in this field who do it hourly. Although, generally speaking, if you're not very wealthy, I would steer you away from that. But not too many of these firms are going to be doing it pro bono. And frankly, the cases I've seen run pro bono have not gone well, if I'm being honest with you. The profit motive goes a long way in terms of generating time and attention to a case. Having a law firm with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 wrapped up in a case, $100,000 wrapped up in a case. Well, you want to see somebody sweat the details. Take $100,000 of their net worth, put it into a case, and tell them they don't get it back, not one penny of it back, unless they win. Well, you've got yourself a real motivated attorney right there. Let me tell you. That attorney's going to spend some time. You believe it, right? So, listen, I've seen legal aid run cases. I've never seen legal aid run an employment discrimination case without committing malpractice. Not once. Why do they take the cases? Couldn't tell you. Maybe they feel bad. Maybe they think they're going to help. I've never once seen them take an employment discrimination case without actively harming the claimant. Actively significant harm. I'm not going to name the organizations because they'll probably sue me for defamation or whatever. I'm just saying, generally speaking, legal aid, not the best and brightest. Yeah, I know. They went to Harvard. They're working legal aid because they're not really looking to practice law, generally speaking, and they want something cushy while they look for their next gig, right? They're free. If you can get them to do it, it's free. I've just never seen them run a case in this field without committing malpractice. Not once. Ever. So, point of this was maybe be judicious in your use of the words pro bono when you're trying to retain an attorney in this field. And if this video is helpful, like and subscribe. It helps me to help more people like you. Comment down below. Tell me that I should run your case for free. Tell me what a jerk I am. Tell me that I should be stabbed for the things I say. Maybe. Also, everybody works. Not everybody wins.